Okay. Let's get this go. Show on a roll. Welcome to the party, and yep, here we go, Sterling. Here we go. Welcome to the party. It's your boy Mountain back again for another day of Path of Exile. I'm just messing around. I ain't got nothing else to do. I done lost the gauntlet so bad, and I just feel like crying. But hey, we gotta to each his own. We gotta keep going and get our stuff going, and everything. So. Currently, right now, there is. I'm just messing around with the path of building, trying to figure out some things. I just ain't got nothing else to do. So, what I want to do is I want to try to get my blazing salvo build together. I've been trying to get Blazing Salvo for years where it's acceptable, but I have constantly over and over again failed in making a Blazing Salvo build. And it just keeps irritating me because I like the power. I just can't seem to get it to work. So there's two options that I've been debating on. It's like, hey, should I do a Blazing Salvo build, or make another type of build? So this is where things could get real interesting, and the reason why I say that is because I have a thought process on a cast on crit configuration that I want to do as well, which does not involve Blazing Salvo at all. It doesn't. It's just a build that has been creeping around in my head for like forever, and I still haven't worked it out. So let's go ahead and start with the Blazing Salvo build, and let's just go ahead and do the things that we need to do for that build. Now, there are certain things that we need to be aware of for Blazing Salvo. So Blazing Salvo, most people do not understand. Blazing Salvo is not a build to be used. Hey, what's up? Are we dead yet? How's it going, man? So Blazing Salvo is one of those builds that you just cannot use. It's not a spell build where you got to, it's like this. Blazing Salvo works better because it actually is a flat damage build. The way that the skill works and scales is flat damage. You can't do ignite. You can't do any of those other things. Oh yeah, I got my lucky. I died earlier, dude. Hey, are we dead yet? Yeah, I died, and Sarah Lena died. The gauntlet's over for me, but I am here to drown my sorrows. I'm here to drown my sorrows in theory crafting and messing around with builds. That's what I feel I need to do. I need to work on what I plan on doing. Eventually getting a Blazing Salvo build to work. This is the thing. We are going to get a Blazing Salvo build to work somehow. All right. So like I was saying before, what you got to remember is that this build is all about flat damage. So you want to go ahead and you want to try to get flat damage as best you can on whatever you're doing to make Blazing Salvo do more damage. All right, so let's just say we do that. There you go. So Blazing Salvo is 100. Let's see, 173. Add that, takes it up to there. So when you look at the calculations for Blazing Salvo, right here, see this. It just adds on to the basic Blazing Salvo, because when you look at the skill itself, skill itself says, hey, it's gonna deal fire damage, 7 projectiles, fire damage, and when it does 7 projectiles, fire damage, it's you know, and then when the scaling of it is effectiveness of added damage is 60%. You see that? So it can't scale like the other spells. So let me give you an example of what I mean by that. So let's say we're doing Frostbolt. So we do Frostbolt, right? When you look at Frostbolt and you look at the effectiveness of added damage, effectiveness of added damage is 360%. So do you see the difference between it as a spell? Frostbolt, you get an effective damage increase. So you could actually scale this with other things. You know, you can do things with scaling it pretty easily, and it will do, Frostbolt will scale a lot easier. Okay. Blazing Salvo, which took me a while to figure this out. Blazing Salvo, you're just at a situation where you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I can't really scale this the same way, because they weren't scaling the same way. So that was one of the things that I did learn about Blazing Salvo, is that it scales differently. Okay. So one of the things that I want to do is I want to continue to go down the route of making a Blazing Salvo build out of somebody over in the shadow. So I'm thinking a Trickster is an option, but I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure what I'm gonna do on it, because we're talking about flat damage. So since we're talking about a flat damage build, I think it would benefit very well from really high crit multiplier and everything like that. Scale the flat damage as high as possible, get crit multiplier, and then we'll work through it that way. Now, this does not necessarily go very well for me with a lot of other things. So one of the things you can scale really well with it is, we've always known that in mines it works really good. Traps, I have found that traps don't target, or weren't targeting as good as mines. Now that might be rectified now. Okay, and what I mean by that is, you might actually have the ability. Oh, let me get rid of that. That's a terrible thing. That reminds me of my failure in the gauntlet. Okay, so we might be able to just go ahead and just do a really good damage configuration with mines, or with traps on Blazing Salvo. So, but I'm still not sure if I want to run that route. I think what I want to do is I want to go with something other than that. What I think I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to go with, a self-cast version of it. Now, there's some things that we need to look at, which, this might not be the route to go. Right here with the shadow might not be the route to go with it, because look at where all the fire modifications are. All the fire modifications and fire up the stuff is pretty much almost on the left side of the stuff over here. A lot of it is fire damage over time. So a lot of it is flat. So here, physical damage is fire. Physical damage, fire damage, damage over time. So a lot of it is useless damage for us anyway, unless we go down here and we get Those are attack skills. Damage over time. So I think that they try to make things, utilize things in a way that it always, how can I say, it always uses, you always want to try to use ignite and things like that, but it just doesn't kind of equate out to be the way that I think it should. So we're gonna work our way through, and we're gonna go ahead and try to get something put together today. And then we're gonna put something together today, and we're gonna just kind of try to see if we can get a reverter character, pull all the stuff out of it, and then try to get it to work, and see if we can get it to work. Because I really need to tack out some. Oh, hold up, my coffee. Be right back. Like I was saying, okay, so like I was saying, it's one of those things that we got to try to figure out. Now, we have some other builds that didn't work out, and we couldn't help that. Okay, so one of the things, like I was saying, item wise, in the end, we want something that does flat damage. So we want almost a tier 1 flat damage on a wand that does flat damage, and that will give us a total of, so it says like this is, it's gonna be 1.4. So let's just go ahead and say 298 points of damage is what it's saying it's gonna do. Now, this is also a funny thing about that. Let's delete this real quick. When you look at it, it says it's gonna do 270 to 405 points of damage. I always look at the one projectile, because the one projectile is going to be the most important, ratio, I think, for it. So let's say we're gonna put that in a body armor. All right. So this is let's go ahead and go from there, and let's start looking at what we can do. So we know this is where flat damage is right now. So let's go here, cast speed. Now, one of the things we could do is, so right here is attack and cast speed, attack, cast speed, and this is physical damage and physical damage. So we could do this route, which I don't want to go that route, or we can go this route. So before we do anything, let's go ahead and just say, boom, let's go here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this back out. So that we got to go this route, no matter what. We got to go this route because it's the best start for what we're gonna be doing. Now, what we want to do is we want to look for suppress and get as much suppression as we can. Get lucky. So this is where we got interesting situations. So here we go, we got this and bam, we got that, right? So one of the things we need to do is we need to get some more suppression. Now there's problems because what if we want to look for the most effective stuff, we want to kind of get away from some of the things that just aren't going to help us. This is cast speed increase, which is good. I'm gonna go this route. We're gonna get that. We're gonna go there. We're gonna go there. We're gonna get the we're gonna get our health increase here. So right there we got 97% spell suppression. We'll go with that right there. So that gives us 97% spell suppression. We got some good spell suppression right there. So that is a good configuration for spell suppression, and we're done. We're done with spell suppression. So let's just say we go here and say we're going to go with a projectile configuration. That's it. So what I'm saying here is we're going to go use a cluster. We're going to have a cluster, but this is not necessarily the best route to go for what we need, because we need to do some, that gave us the suppression. Let's go for life. What things can we do to get ourselves better life configuration? Because hey, we want some more life. We know this one doesn't work because this is attacks. So we can, and this is enemy hit with attacks, but we want that. So this will give us good life configuration. We have 91. We want to get more life. We want to get more life because that's just not enough. That's not enough. So we gotta find some life configuration. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and look at the other things that we need to get. And we need to get these just because we want to go ahead and get some damage increases for Blazing Salvo. So here we go. We got fire damages. We're going to go ahead and do this one, which is there's no physical damage with this. There's only fire damage, right? Let's go ahead and say that. Exposures you inflict apply at least 18%, -18 to effective resistances. Okay, so that's the best we can do out of this one, because the other ones, they don't really function too much like we want. Okay, so that's going to cause us a problem. Now this one is an explosion. Now we got to go over here. We want that. And the reason why we want this is because this is just straight fire damage, fire damage, fire damage, fire damage, fire damage. Okay, let's get to health, because we need to, we still we're still very lackluster on the health configuration. All right. So that right there is okay. Not the greatest, but it's okay. Now, we can go this route and get a little bit more damage as well. So there we go. So we're only 113 for the health, but if we go here, we get cast speed increase, and we can go there to get a little bit more health. That will take us to 140. All right. And don't forget, we got to put the plus 30 to that right there. So we're at 141, which isn't bad. That isn't bad, but as you can see, we still have a sucky damage output. So some of the things that we know we need to do, and we're going to need to do, is we're going to need to get some of these jewel sockets. 1, 2. So there's 2 jewel sockets right there. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to add ourselves a jewel cluster, a cluster jewel, large, create. Now, there's ways to go. We can do either fire damage or elemental damage. Fire damage, elemental damage. We're gonna be tied to one of them. Fire damage, you do have some things that actually could help out. So this is burning damage. This is corrosive. This is, hey, you get, enemies killed or destroyed. This one is, hey, nearby enemies have fire exposure. Then we got prismatic, sadist, and then you have fire damage here. We also get smoke, right? So, and then you got right here Doriana's lesson, which gives you elemental damage, gives you health back. And then you got this one, which is 10% chance to nearby enemies to be blind when you use elemental skills, and widespread. Widespread is the one you really want. So this is so let's just say we do this one. All right, oh, hold up. Let me go back. Let's cancel that. Let's delete that. Craft, large, lots of good options. Yeah, there's lots of good options. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go here and then edit, call this thing fire cluster. Save that. And the reason why I'm gonna just do this real quick, because I want to show y'all some differences between clusters. All right, so let's go ahead and do, instead of that, we're gonna do an elemental. Where's elemental? Elemental damage cluster. So the elemental damage cluster, you have less of the primary options, but you have the same lower level options, right? So let's go ahead and call this one elemental cluster. So let's say we add the fire cluster, right? And let's just say we do the fire cluster, and I want to show y'all this because it's a very important thing to understand your scaling. So when we go fire cluster and everything like that, you'll notice that this goes up to 320. It's all fire damage increases and everything like that, right? So this is mainly all fire damage increases from that cluster. All right. So that takes you to 320. Is there a difference between that and an elemental? So when we go back to calculations, it's 300 from elemental. See, you see the difference, right? This one gives you elemental damage of 10, while the fire damage cluster, where if I can find it, where the fire damage cluster, when you look at the fire damage cluster versus the elemental damage cluster, and this is not with any enhancements, this is just the way the clusters work. This, okay, so if you, I'll put it to you this way. If you were going to be doing, and this is just education for those individuals that haven't really been playing PoE or doing their own builds, etc. This is just, I know everybody here in my team, in my stream, normally has been doing builds for forever. So this is not for those, it's for those individuals that have not been building your own clusters or building your own builds. So we get an extra amount of damage, just 13 years of failed builds. I don't have failed builds all the time, but sometimes a lot of my experimental build. Okay, so what I do is I try to find, I'm not good like Jung Rung. Jung Rung will sit there, he'll be like, hey, he'll put something together and be like, hey, this is awesome. I put something together to test it, to see if it will be good. And sometimes I hit onto that really good one. Yeah. Well, you Lycanthropy, we had this really good, it lasted for 2 leagues. The Exsanguinate, that was actually a really good build, and it died out, but that's neither here nor there. They changed things on us. I've been taking them to 100 every league. This league is pain. Look, I haven't been doing this league. I need to get on and try to get a character to 100 one of these days. I'm still working on it. I haven't got there yet. I'm still working on it. Okay, so, but like I was saying, so this you'll get more damage output just from doing the 12 like this, right? So now that we know that we have what we have from the fire cluster, when we replace the nodes, let's make sure we replace the nodes with something that's going to be good. So Smoking Remains is a good one. We're not really that big on what you want to call it. We're not that big on burning, so we're not going to be really trying to do any burning. Okay. But and corrosive, that is 15 elemental damage, but it gives us that fire. So corrosive elements definitely is something we want to put in place because it has a chance to do exposure. So if we want to sit there and we want to, if we put this in, and let's go back to items, let's save it, go to the tree, make sure it's covered, then we go back to configurations. One of these is fire exposure. So if we put fire exposure in place, you remember it goes up to 15. The reason why it does that is because if you remember, we have a configuration that says, hey, exposure is going to be 18% minimum from that one node that we took. So go back to the tree, we go back in here, and we said, hey, this is the only good thing in that one right here. Exposures you inflict apply at least 18 to affected resistances, negative 18 affected resistance. So when I expose something, It's gonna be negative 18. All right, so that's a good one right there. Bam, we're good. We're golden. But that still is a terrible number for the amount of points that we, the amount of points we're almost at. We're almost maxing out our point configuration, and so we got to go ahead and figure out what we're gonna do. Other things we're gonna do. So there's still on this cluster we can adjust. So one of the things that we're gonna do is what's our survivability on this cluster? Okay, what are we gonna do to survive on this cluster? Because that's a major thing. Survival on a cluster is major. So right now we're saying, hey, we do 21 regen. And this is with us saying, hey, we're gonna go ahead and do this. What is our defense going to be on this one? That's right now we've done some basics. Now we got to figure out our defense. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do some stuff to just get us past plus 1,135% to all elemental resistances plus 135% to chaos. All right, so that just gives us so we can basically have our resistances so we can see what we're going to be doing. So frenzy charges, that's a okay amount. Power charges, frenzy charges is going to be better. Okay, so we I want to see Mal do Borderlands builds. Yeah, that would be funny. Okay, so some of our defense is going to have to come from what do we plan on doing to survive and everything. So one of the things we can do is we can look at, I'm still looking at this as Saboteur because I might convert it into a mine or mine or trap build because this is the only thing that works. But I still want to self cast somehow. I just don't know why I can't get it to self cast. So let's go here. We got the 50% return capability here. Projectile speed and criticals are lucky. And see, this would work, but we don't have any triggers because we don't care about triggers. So the only things we have right now. So this is terrible. So we got this one. We got the returns. Triggers we're not going to be using. This is for traps. This is something we could do. And then this one is because the cooldown stuff doesn't really help us either. It doesn't help us either. So let's just go with it. Let's say this is our basic. This is the basic right here, right? One of the things that we have problems with is we do not have enough defense. Okay, we got 141 for the life, but guess what? We do not have a lot of the things that we need to be able to survive hits, stuff like that. So let's say we go this route, go that route. Okay, we got 112 for evasion. That's actually pretty good. Not the greatest, but then we gotta go ahead. Blind effect is increased by 40. All my enemies will always be blinded. One of the things that we want to do is we want to go ahead and have some type of defense, and we know that we're going to go with Grace, and we want to go with Steel Skin, because those are the only things that are going to be effective currently. Now, with this, we already have 113, so that means we're at level 90. We got probably another 5 levels to go before we are maxed out on what we would normally do. So let's go ahead and save the rest of this. We'll save the rest of this for any specific things. This is what's this? Looking at evasion, yeah. So any damage outputs or anything like that, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna have to get it through gear and get it through gear and get it through the damage. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go with hit DPS, because we don't have anything in here. So what I want to look is I want to look to see what can we get that's going to give us good hit DPS. So it looks like a staff build is pretty much the best way to go. Let's go ahead and look at this. Add that one. got that one. So staff, it seems like it's going to be the better route to go because they're just saying, hey, we can do things with the staff that we can't do with other things. Okay. And so we got other things that don't necessarily work out too well, but we got some extra stuff that, you know. Now what I'm doing right now is I'm just looking to see if there's I'm just looking to see exactly what we got here. So that was hit damage. Let's go for average. Average is the same. All right. Combined DPS. And let's go with cast speed to see if there's anything that's going to come out on top of that one. So that one's been a few times. Okay. So what it says is that if we switch out and do something else, such as annihilating, we're going to get the most damage. If we do martyr, we'll get okay. And martyr of innocence is okay. But with martyr of innocence, we're immune to freeze and chill while ignited, which it ain't gonna help us at all, really. So, and then legacy is the least. So legacy is the least one. Legacy is the least one, but legacy gives us Shaper devastation while we use by Shaper memory, which will be used by Shaper memory. Okay, so Shaper devastation. What's that? Shaper. Let's. That one's probably an expensive little thing, isn't it? Let's go ahead and look at this. Let's look at this. So, well, let me look at it. Legacy of the Rose. Okay, so what that just told me is this is a very interesting weapon. Legacy of the Rose. Is that, and that's new, isn't it? Is that something? And how much does the Legacy of the Rose cost? That's path. Path of Exile, trade. Legacy of the Rose. Search that out. rather cheap, actually. Shaper's Despair. Well, no. The memory choice is Shaper's Despair. So let me show y'all what I'm talking about. So this is Shaper's Despair, which is, you know, we want Shaper's Devastation. That's the one we want. Well, nah, not really. Shaper's Devastation works. Either way it goes. Shaper's Devastation is like it teleports you to the enemy, and then you get tons of damage. Or it teleports to the enemy and does tons of damage. This gives you all three. Gain one when you spend a total of 200 energy shield with no Shaper memory summon. Remembrance. Maximum 10 remembrance. Now, I still don't understand what that means. Let's say gain one remembrance. Unlike other similar worded states, it's possible to gain multiple stacks of remembrance on a single skill. Energy shield cost blah blah. Convert all skills cost into energy shield costs, enabling corrupting fever to effectively spend 2,000 energy shield in a single cost. March of the Legion is also usable with Eldritch Battery. The heck is that? Ten stacks of remembrance will summon an untargetable, invulnerable Shaper memory similar to Shaper clones. Okay, so that's what it is. So you got to get 10 stacks of remembrance, and then if you do, you can get this to kick off with 4,000% damage effectiveness that cannot be evaded. Deals 70% less damage with ailments. So it can, 4,000 damage effectiveness is actually really cool. And so this is actually pretty good. So, okay, this is actually, that makes this thing crazy good. Let's think about this. So if we do Legacy, and then let's just say we do Eldritch Battery, and we do Eldritch Battery, we're getting one stack every 2 seconds currently. And that's just with, that's one stack every 2 seconds currently. Now, let's go ahead and add in some extra stuff. Let's add in some extra stuff. So that's actually pretty cool. There's Blazing Salvo. We're going to put that inside of weapon 1. Because, if we have it inside of the body, we should do less damage. If we have it inside the weapon, it's going to do more damage because items, this is +4 to all spell skill gems. So Blazing Salvo just went from 20 to 24. We didn't see a significant increase in Path of Building changing over to that. Look, so Blazing Salvo is +4 now. Right? Maybe I'll switch back to 6,000. So total DPS is 6,542. Right? If I move this thing out of the weapon and put it back in the body armor, that's never mind. It gives it to you, and it's not what's socketed, it's wherever. Ooh, that's an interesting thing. That's an interesting situation. I like it. Okay, so we put this in the body armor. And then whatever we put inside of the staff will enhance the Shaper's devastation. Ooh, that could be real cool. Either way it goes, let's go ahead and let's continue on down our path of failure. Path of making a very awesome build that's going to be better than anything anybody has ever seen. This gives us a better evasion rating here, which is about 150. That takes us to 93. Okay, so that goes there. That takes us to 93. Let's just leave it at that. And then this right here. There we go. 40% increase evasion if you've hit recently. You've been hit. Let's just go with that one. Or do this one. Configuration. Have I been hit recently? With 1,000 damage effectiveness, wouldn't you be better off using something that adds flat damage like anger? With the 4,000, yeah, something like that. Yeah, so you are correct. If I go through and I do something like, so I haven't even gone in there and done anything for enhancing this at all. So I just went defensive, and I've just been looking at defensive. But yes, if you look at the different auras, you got anger, right? And what anger does is anger is like, hey, you got flat damage increasing, and anger is something that we would put in place to increase our damage for Blazing Salvo, because anger by far is better. Let's just be honest. It's by far better, because you are correct. It is a flat damage increase. When we go to calculations, which I haven't gotten there to show all the to go through the calculations. What I started and showed that, hey, this is how we're going to be. This is what we would need. And then I went into okay, now what we need to do is we need to look at all the things to keep us alive is what I went into next. Okay, so as you can see, we got an effectiveness of 39,000. This is 39,000 without any gear pieces. There's no gear. This is just from the grace. It's just from grace and steel skin. Grace and steel skin is all that's from. It's nothing else. Grace and steel skin and tree gave us effective hit pool ratio of 39,000. Okay, so that actually, to me, I think that's pretty good. That's a pretty good effective ratio, in my opinion. Okay, now also I'm crazy, so since I'm crazy, I think that this is awesome, because it might not be. All right, so let's now go with what we're going to do is we're going to start enhancing our damage of Blazing Salvo. So let me go ahead and do what I normally do, which is new. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inherited from powers above. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So anything above is inherited. Okay, that's inherited from above. Okay, so that's inherited from gear pieces and everything like that. I'm gonna put that to the top. I always put that to the top on my POBs. Okay. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna just go ahead and look at what we got. So some of the things that we did was, and we'll put them all together for now because that's just what we're gonna do and we'll figure out gear pieces later of where we're gonna put it in gear, how it's going to be effective, etc. in gear. So you are correct. I go from 6,000 to 7,000 damage just from the anger. Now, you are very correct if we use Shaper's Devastation. If we get a staff with Shaper's Devastation, that says 4,000 100% increase, effective damage increase. Okay, so that is going to be huge for when the memory goes off. Okay, so when the memory goes off and we get 10 stacks, it goes out, blam, it's gonna boom, big explosion, lots of death. Okay, but that's not where we're working at. We're looking at the effectiveness of Blazing Salvo right now. So let's go ahead and we have Blazing Salvo. We're going to put this in the chest piece of the Blazing Salvo. Now, when we look at the effectiveness of the Blazing Salvo, do we want to go ahead and look at the hit damage, or do we want to go ahead and look at the average hit damage? Now, what is the difference between those in your calculations? When we start looking at calculations, we start trying to figure out what is the difference. Okay, so this right here is the average hit damage, is the damage from non-critical hits plus damage from crits equals your average hit damage, right? Your hit damage is just exactly what it sounds like. It is whatever the power does. It's whatever it comes in at. Okay. So let's say if I was doing 100 points of damage, let's say I do 100 points of damage. When I hit, it's going to be 100 points of damage. That's what it's calculating off of. If I say I'm my average hit damage, then that's that 100 points of damage plus the chance of a crit, which is going to be the average chance of my crit, which then would be, let's say my crit is 6%, which is why you see this right here. So it'll add in the crit configuration, which mine is 7.2. So it's 0.0720, which times the hit, times a second hit, because I got 2 hits per second, which equals my average damage. All right, so that's going to be my average damage. All right, so what we can do when we're looking at skills, you can actually go in here and say, hey, and what we're going to turn off awakened gems, because I'm sorry to say awakened gems are really good to get, but you're not necessarily going to get it automatically. So that's why I don't turn it on all the time. Everybody's always like, well, you can put this awakened gem in and you can put this awakened gem in and your damage goes up by a lot. Yeah, but how much does those awakened gems cost? You talking about 90 div for this one, 20 div for that one? Nah, I make about 20 div a league. Why would I want to put a gem in there to make my POB look really good, and I'm never going to get it? It's a difference between a guy who can craft and make money and do all these cool things versus a person that just pretty much is broke all the time. And since I'm broke all the time, I go with the cheapest things I can get. So I usually turn this off. Now, that's just the way I look at it. So let's go ahead and say we're going to look at average hit, or we're going to look at hit damage. I'm going to look at the hit DPS. And the reason why is because I want my hit DPS to be good. Or just say it's an SSF build. Yeah, nah, because I use a lot of uniques. This is a unique right here. Legacy of the Rose. Let's go. I don't even know where it drops from. Summon Pinnacle Boss. So there's yeah, not SSF friendly. It's Trade League friendly, but not SSF friendly. Because right now I'm sitting there saying, I want this staff, and I want this staff with this particular configuration. Hold up. Oh, I ain't even on the right screen. So this is not SSF friendly right here. The Incarnation of Neglect. It's a Pinnacle Boss. You got to get to Pinnacle Bosses to get this. So let's just, and then what we want is we want this particular version. We want the Shaper Devastation, so we can get that 4,100 times % damage effectiveness. We want that Shaper Slam to be awesome. So nah, it's not SSF friendly. Not SSF friendly at all. So let's go back into POB build. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna say, hey, I want to look at hit DPS because that's just the way it is. Now, I like this where it says show only support gems. Okay, so one of the things that I like to do is, let's go ahead and say we're gonna do Spell Echo. Spell Echo means that we're gonna get more attacks per second just by putting in Spell Echo, right? So my hit damage is going to go up because I'm getting more hits, right? Cast when stun is a ridiculous thing. We're never going to get cast with stun. Never going to get cast with stun because when stunned, because we don't want to be stunned. And we want to be able to cast this on a regular basis, right? So we got fire penetration. Now we did see, just a second ago, we did see something that was really, really interesting, which is we have Arcane Surge, right? Which Arcane Surge was like, hey, you can get Arcane Surge. Now let me do this. Arcane Surge. So Arcane Surge, what does it say? Each supported spell will track how many mana you spend on it, granting a buff when the total mana spent reaches a threshold. Cannot support skills used by totems, traps, mines, or skills with a reservation. Okay. I haven't tried this, but we need to try it. Can we do automation and steel skin? So steel skin is going to cost, right? It's going to cost on a regular basis. Let's go ahead and pull steel skin out of here. So steel skin is going to cost on a regular basis, right? And since it costs on a regular basis, it's going to burn through what you want to call it? It's going to burn through and cause an Arcane Surge to kick off. Now, Arcane Surge What is it? What's Arcane Surge at 20%? 20. So that's something that we need to look at, because these things all come into play when making a build. Let's just be honest. Arcane Surge support. All right. 400 mana. When 400 mana spent. Okay, so 400 types of mana spent, right? We can't do 400 because that's just going to be that's going to take too long. Because when we look at Path of Building, Steel Skin is only 18. So we need to take this down to around about 7, I think it is 7 or 8. Let me go back to $41. 9 is 51. Okay, so let's go 9. Okay, so, and then we go more duration. So when we get that, we look at Steel Skin. Steel Skin is going to be 14. Nope. Let's go back down to 7. 7's usually a good number. All right, cool. So we're back at Blazing Salvo. We're good back at Blazing Salvo. So this one's done, right? So this is done. Let's go ahead and throw this into some place where it's going to get out of the way. Let's just throw that in the boots. All right, so it's in our boots. Blazing Salvo, still we're looking at what we're going to do for Blazing Salvo to make it really good. So concentrated effect. So this is one of those things that you got to one of the things that we have to do for Blazing Salvo, no matter what, is fork. And the reason why we do fork is because Blazing Salvo has a skill configure or a thing that when it hits the ground, it will split into 2 explosions. Okay, now the explosions go different angles and everything like that, but you hit more area when you have fork in than you don't. So that's one of the reasons why you do fork, because it's gonna poof. It's like all the balls will go out, they'll hit the ground, and then they spread. Okay, so that's a lot more damage, kind of. It spreads the damage, which means kind of hurts as well, but it's one of those ones that you want to go ahead and you want to do fork. That will give you a little bit more spread damage and everything like that. Now, if concentrated effect gives you more area damage, less area effect. So it means that the balls go out, the radius of the balls are different. So we don't want any of those things. Added fire is just terrible. Okay, so this is where Blazing Salvo can be very tricky. Okay, so we have everything that we need to make the damage better, right? So all the projectiles, we're doing pretty good amount of damage, but we're not doing a great amount of damage. Okay, so this is where it becomes a very tricky configuration of what we're gonna want to do, because controlled destruction gives us a less critical chance, but gives us a good increase in damage, because controlled destruction gives us that more. Where is it? Right here. Controlled destruction gives us that total more here, which gets calculated and adds in extra damage for us, right? So that's actually a pretty good configuration change right there. Now, one of the things that we haven't done is we haven't actually gone in and added some flammability, right? So but that's our curse. We're gonna put a curse in because I just saw it. There's no curse. So if we curse things, we got a ton of extra damage, right? A couple of other things that we might want to go ahead and do is get, some other things in. Oh, hold up. We didn't even finish the rest of our damage, our capabilities. So we got Jade Flask. We want a Granite Flask. Quartz Flask would be good, because that would give us spell suppression at 100% automatically. So we could do that, or what we could do is we could actually we want the Quicksilver no matter what. That gives us good movement speed. So the question is, do we want to go ahead and have something like Silver? A Silver Flask will give us Onslaught. Okay, and that Onslaught is going to give us a really good amount of cast speed. As you can look, cast rate is 4.2. We can cast 4 times a second. All right, so that's actually pretty good. 4 times a second is pretty good, but we still want some other things to increase our cast speed and things like that. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to go back to skills. So with flammability in place, controlled destruction in place, that's actually pretty good. If we do concentrated effect, this is one of those ones right here. Look. So concentrated effect is a huge increase in damage. Okay, it's a huge increase in damage, because that area damage AoE. So when you go here and you look, area damage, where is it? Should be concentrated effect, 39% right there, right? And that's a more damage increase. Then we add in controlled destruction, and now we have 143 more damage, 143% more damage. All right, so that's why those are pretty huge numbers. It's a huge number increase. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right there. That's 6 inside of a body armor. And if you look at that we have we have a 1 red, 1 green, and multiple blues. So what kind of chest piece can we put inside? What effective item can we put in place for a chest piece? So I always do things like that in that aspect, because you don't know what you're going to be using all the time. So an armor evasion, which would be nice to have. This would be nice to have, because an armor evasion would help, but it's not something that's gonna probably work, because you got so many blues that are needed for your build. So look, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 blues, 1 red, and 1 green. Okay. And so the items that we're going to be looking for, we're going to look for something that can give us a possibility of getting that. So an evasion energy shield is going to be what we're going to look for. Now, I always go, they have 3 new armors, which is the 3 new armors are blue, green, red, blue. Let's just say that. Okay, so one of the things we want to do is we want to go life. We never go with the max, never go with tier 1, always go with tier 2. And the reason why is because I say this is because you can get tier 2 easy. Getting tier 1 stuff is, everybody always goes, ooh, you can get the. No, you can't get XYZ easy. It's not that easy. Hold up. Is that the right one? Yeah, okay. So I think that's wrong. Sorry, it was wrong. Sorry. That was that particular armor was one of the if you wanted more mana. I'm not really worried about more mana. This is the one that you want to get, because I think let me check again. Not that one. The differences between the two is the carnal. We can have the carnal. Yeah, let's just go carnal. The Sadist armor is the one that I would go with. Just FYI, I'm gonna do Sadist because it's just me. It's got a higher evasion ratio, which is what we want, because we don't want to get ourselves beaten up and dead. So this we don't care about. Suffix, let's see if there's anything in the suffix that we really want to look for. We don't necessarily want anything in the suffix other than maybe spell suppression. And a basic spell suppression number would be perfectly fine on this build. We add that to it. Boom, there we go. So that would cover our chest piece, okay? Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna look at gloves. Well, hold up, before we look at gloves, let's go ahead and look back at skills. So we have already created a body armor piece that's covered. So covered, we're good, right? Let's look at boots. Boots, we said red and blue. So that's just red and blue. Can we get a red and blue boot that would work for us? Yes, we can. So let's go ahead and put some boots in place. Now, what I would do for boots, we can do the wyvern, or we can do two-toned. I would do two-toned because that's just the way I am. So I do the two-tone boots, green, blue, red. So red, blue. We can get that. That's acceptable. We can get that inside of this. What you do is you go and you would put the boots in first. Put the boots in with a 2. You would say, hey, I want 2 blues. And then you would take it to a 3 and see if it's a red. If not, take it back to 2. 3, 2, 3, 2 until you get a red socket. Then you go 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4 until you get a red socket. Then you're gonna have your boots would be red, would have the reds and the blues on it. So it's an easy one to get. You always want to go ahead and make sure you have a movement speed. I go with movement speed 30. I do not go movement speed 35. You can get movement speed 35, but you need to have boots that are level 86 or higher to be able to get to roll 35. We don't necessarily go, I'm not going to push to try to get that. And then for life, because I am going with that tier 2 there, I usually only go with like, I want to go with 79 or 90. I'm gonna take this down by 2 because that's a harder, this can be gotten with no problem, but it's just one of those ones. And then that's the end of that. We'll just put that in place. Bam. All of a sudden, now we're good. So we got those boots on. They give us an evasion. They give us a little armor. That's really good. If you could, if you wanted to, the thing what you would do is you would go for an armor evasion here, or armor life, or I'm sorry, evasion life modification, and that'll get you what you need. Okay, so we have that in place. Okay, cool. We are doing great, right? Everything is looking hunky dory. We're doing real good. All right, but we're not. Okay, because the damage output is still sucky. What is our damage at? Why is our damage output still sucky? Because it is. So what can we do? What can we do? Let's go ahead and look for anything that's going to give us hit DPS that could help us. Hey, look at it. Now we got a Zoph's heart that just popped up. That's a necklace, right? So Zoph's heart means nearby enemies are covered in ash. That's a good thing. We also get a increase in fire damage. That's actually a pretty good thing to get, right? So we can go ahead and grab that and put that on. And we go from 53,000 to 67,000 points of damage per projectile. Then we add in configuration. We'll say, hey, are they covered in ash? Oh, it automatically did it. Normally when you click is the enemy covered in ash, and it would change the damage, but it looks like that when we put it on, it automatically did it. So we don't have to do that anymore. All right, so that's the damage output we got so far. Yay. All right, so what other things can we do to enhance our build? So right now we're at 56,000 to be able to survive. That's a 56,000 points to be able to of effective hit points. We haven't added in a helmet and gloves. Now we need to go ahead and get a helmet and gloves in place. Is there anything we can do for helmets? That's going to be really good. So we're going to go with helmets. I'm going to go with a straight evasion helmet. Really? Star Conja. I'm gonna throw a Star Conja in just because. So Star Conja is just one of those ones that is, it's a good helmet, and the reason why I like Star Conja is because your evasion rating goes up. It's a global crit, but the thing is 150% global evasion rating went on low life. So if I go to low life, where is it? Low life. It does the calculations already, I believe. Oh, there you go. If I go to low life, that's not what I thought it was. Hold up. it might have done all the calculations already. Either way it goes. Star Conjure I like because it actually does a very good effectiveness to keep you alive. It gives you a little bit of extra evasion and everything like that. Then now what we're going to do is we're going to craft ourselves a, oh, hold up, cancel that. Switch this back into no name and close. We're going to get gloves. Now gloves, there is a beautiful glove configuration they're called gripped. But that's only for attack skills. So like a bow. You're using a bow, projectile. It gives you a projectile attack configuration, which is really good if you're bow. Okay, so we're gonna go slink because that's just the way we are. We're gonna go ahead and get the health. I'm gonna go take that to there. Is there anything that we want to do with anything else that we want to look for this particular thing? In the suffix area, one of the things we want to look for in the suffix area is we want to look for gain life per enemy killed, because I'm sorry to say that's a really good thing to have. And there's other things that we could look for. I mean, and so if you look, there's not anything that's really good there. There's some, but we could, this would give us a little effective thing, but there's one other thing we can do, which I'm gonna show you real quick. Instead of going gloves with evasion, let's go gloves energy shield, right? And we go fingerless gloves. And then we do life. Is there anything on this thing that we would like to see on the first? No. Is there any suffixes that we would like to see? Like I said before, enemies killed with this spell damage increase like that, we can go bam, and we can effectively change our gloves to the fingerless gloves, and we get more damage. 62 versus 63. The fingerless gloves gives you a little bit extra damage, so that's why I would actually use the fingerless gloves. Okay, so we've done everything we could for gear wise. This gets us gear wise in a good position. Okay, gear wise, this is all gear that we can get with no problem. The most expensive piece we got is going to be this staff, which is going to cost about 100 gold or 100 chaos or more. But it's effectively something that you can get. Okay, so that's a good thing. We can always use one of the other staffs while we're leveling, or we can use one of the other staffs, like the Martyr of Innocence. Let's go ahead and throw the Martyr of Innocence in place. Martyr of Innocence, Blazing Salvo. It's got a better damage overall with us attacking, but it doesn't have that extra boom. We could go with the the annihilating light staff, which is a really good one. We have to go really heavy in the resistances though. This one gives us an effective 107 automatically. 107, boom. That's really nice. Okay, so we're gonna go back to, from the annihilating, we're gonna go back to the legacy. And the reason why I'm going back to the legacy is because I just like the point in fact that thing says 4,100 effective damage effectiveness. Hey, what's up? How you doing, Whale? Arbiter, Wailed Arbiter. I think his name's Wailed Arbiter. How you doing, Wailed Arbiter? Sorry, I just saw it pop up. I didn't look over there, but hey, so where are we gonna get our other damage? Let's just, all this is actually good. We're gonna go ahead and get our extra damage. So our extra damage is gonna be coming from the jewels, the rings, and the jewels, the rings and the jewels. That's where we're going to get most of our increasing in our damage. The question is, are we going to get ourselves to a point where it's a lot of damage? And don't get me wrong. Remember what I said about my build. My build's going to be just enough damage so that we can get into T16s, and we'll be effectively able to do a T16, not T17s, not min-maxed for pinnacle bosses. This is just it's a good play style to get us to, get us into mapping and be able to do mapping, and it's fun. That's pretty much what it is. And so that's what we're working on right now. So we're working on doing that. So one of the things that we're going to be looking for is we're going to look for rings, and we're going to go for an opal ring, because the opal ring is an elemental ring, I believe. Yep. We're going to do opal rings because opal rings are awesome. Now, with the opal ring, the only thing we're going to be looking for is we're going to be looking for life. We're going to go for a T2 life, because you remember what I told you about T1s. T1s become very, very costly in the long term. So if you look here, all of these things say, hey, increase elemental attacks, energy shield, etc. for primaries. Suffixes, we got a little bit better things for suffixes. The only thing we're looking for in the suffix area, though, is either increased fire damage, or we're going to look for increased cast speed. We're already doing four attacks per second. Okay, so we don't really want that much cast speed. We really want that fire damage. So, and I'm going to go ahead and say we don't even want a huge amount of fire damage. We're just going to sit there and say, hey, we want this. Now, you remember I put in the configuration to give us chaos and elemental effectiveness, right? So when we look at the items, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 items. Let's say 5 items. We got 5 items right now. 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 items that we have that we must use to get 135 health elemental resistances on, and get our chaos resistance on. One of the things that we could do, because we only have 1, 2, 3, so that's another thing that I like to do as well. No more than 4 uniques. And the reason why I don't do more than 4 uniques is because then it starts to get really hard to get that resistances to that level that you want, and you're really min-maxing your resistances, and you're doing a lot of things that if you replace one piece of gear, all of a sudden you got to replace everything, because you're so tight on resistance slots that you really can mess your build up by getting an upgrade, and then it's like, oh, now I got to redo everything. So the maximum is 4. So since if the maximum is 4, one of the things that I would do is this one, Death Rush. And the reason why is when you kill things, you recover life, and you also get adrenaline. Okay, so let's look at this. If I go and I say, okay, let's go. Why is that such a big thing? Well, we know we got onslaught, right? We got 4 attacks per second, 4.7 attacks per second with adrenaline kicking in. So if I kill something, I've got adrenaline, right? And so adrenaline gives me more attacks per second and everything like that. Your damage output really goes up higher. Okay. And so we're doing a really good effective damage output by throwing that in. And that hits us with that 4 limit, that 4 unique limit. All right. Now we could go with the opal and we do opal and say, okay, we're just going to do opal, right? And then if we do that, that always gives us the ability at a later date to grab a headhunter eventually. See? You have the option for a headhunter or a headhunter later on if you don't do death rush. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this and this and this and this. I'm keeping the staffs because we're going to be flipping back and forth between the staffs. Okay, so I'll take the adrenaline off because we don't have adrenaline. All right. So right now we have, look at this. Right now it says 241 per second, right? Our energy shield configuration is 382. This is where also you need to pay attention to this. Where's my recharge? My recharge rate is 76. That's not good. That means we're gonna run out of energy shield pretty quick, and we would have to go into our mana if we don't reserve all of our mana. We're gonna probably reserve all our mana. I'm just pointing that out. We're gonna be probably putting some extra stuff in to get our mana reserved so we can have more things, because right now we got Grace, Steel Skin, Arcane Surge, Anger, and Flammability and Onslaught. That's pretty good, but we can probably get another aura in there, one that we don't have. Okay, so one of the things that we're going to look at is, okay, so that's good. Let's put this back at the top. Okay, so one of the things we got to do is we got to look at, where were we? We were looking at items, right? Got a belt. What other belts can we put in place that's going to be good? Now, look, this is right here. This should tell you that we need one type of belt. We need a heavy belt. So we're just going to go ahead and go belt. We're gonna go ahead and get a heavy belt. We're gonna go put life on it. We're gonna take that to tier 2 life. Is there anything else that we can see in here that would actually help us and enhance our capabilities? There's a lot of stuff, but nothing important. Is there anything in here that we're like, oh yeah, we have to have? Nope. There's nothing in here that we have to have. So that means we have tons of slots open. We're still short. We're still short on the belt. So what we need to do is we need to make sure our belt has a suffix of strength. There you go. So that effectively puts us where we need to be. Now if you notice right here, we have 3 slots for let's just go ahead and break this. We got 2 slots for resistances here. We have 3 slots for resistances on our boot. We have 2 slots for resistances on our gloves. On our rings, we have 2 slots, and on the belt, we have 2 slots. Okay, so that effectively gives us a good spot to be in when we start looking at, okay, well, I need to get, because like I said, I need to get 135 elemental resistances and 135 chaos resistances. The chaos is going to be the hard one, but you at least know what you're going to need to get. Now, so normally I run without chaos resistance. Okay, I try to get it and everything like that, but by the time I'm in the maps and I'm running through stuff and everything like that, I do not have chaos resistance. So you'll go, right now I have effective hit pool of 53k, right? If I get chaos resistances, my effective hit pool goes from 53 to 69k. Okay, now also this does bring up a couple of different things. My block is 25%. Spell suppression is going to be at 100%. Okay, so my block is 25%. We could get a more increased block, which would effectively, we have 64% unmitigated stuff. 64% unmitigated damage is going to come in. We can try to adjust that by adding in the different things. Okay, so the avoidance, one of the things that we can do this gets us a poison and impale right here. There's a poison impale. One other thing that we could do when you start going into bossing and stuff like that, you could actually pull this little tree right here, which would give you chaos resistances, more chaos resistances, and so you could pull that tree as well to get some more chaos resistance. But that takes you up to 100, just FYI. But either way it goes, let's go ahead and work the last little bit of the things that we planned on working, which is, so we're gonna work on the gems, craft the jewels, and then we get those jewels in place. So do we want abyss jewels, or do we want the other type of jewels? So let's say abyss hypnotic. Okay, let's just say abyss hypnotic. So what does abyss hypnotic give us? Abyss hypnotic gives us, hey, while I'm holding a 2-handed weapon, I get fire damage to my spells. That's perfect. That's flat damage we want, right? We also have the ability at the bottom for the other half of it. Let's say I want fire damage to my spells. See, we can actually say, hey, I want fire damage in 2 slots, 2 slot configurations. We could also say, I want cast speed increase, I want elementals, I want all kind of different things, right? The where is it? Personally, let's just go with this. because I'm really just, there is a, where I had it just a second ago. Okay, fire damage and spells. So if we can find fire damage holding a two-handed weapon and fire damage is on spells, that would give us effectively give us a really good damage output. So we can go here, that increases our damage. Now let's go ahead and look at the other jewels just in case. Now let's get out of Abyss and let's go to regular jewels. So a Cobalt jewel what is one of the things that we don't have? We don't have a very good amount of defense, right? So when we don't have a very good amount of defense, you go to a regular jewel. Let's say, okay, so let's say the 70,000 effective hit points is not enough. Let's say that, okay? What are we missing? One, our block is at 25%. How do we increase our block? There's multiple different ways. We could go into the tree and pull it from there. We could also do, there's some staff ones that are up top. And instead of going into this, like I was saying, you could go right here and go staff. And we can go bam. Right there gives us some spell block, right? So we can go this route, get some spell block, and then say, hey, last but not least, we can go for that. So this is final repeat of the spell. This will be at 100. I'm not going to put this in because it's not something I want to do, but it's just something that you can look at and be like, okay, yeah, there are things that we can do defensively to add more survivability to the build. I'm just pointing that out, that you can do a little bit more. But when we're looking at item wise, we can go ahead and say, hey, block spell, block spell while holding staff. Where is it? Block spell while wielding a staff. Right? And then we can go ahead and say, hey, I don't want to necessarily do this without actually so there's no specific, like, there's no flat damage increasing that you can do, but you could do this. Okay, so when we do this, this is going to give us some extra damage, just a little bit. It's going to give us some extra damage, and we're going to have effective block. So you want the block to be the maximum, okay? And we can just add that into the build. Let's say we go ahead and put Cobalt there, put a Cobalt there, and we're still increasing our damage a little bit, not a lot. We're increasing our damage just a little bit each time. Hypnotic is the better one because that's just straight damage. So Hypnotic will give us straight damage. Cobalts will give us, you know, a little extra survivability. Like, you know, hey, I got a little block damage. I can do block and do a little bit of damage. Okay. So, but this is the configuration we've come up with. There we go. Now, effectively, we're below half of we're below a mil. So that means that this is not going to do very well overall because we don't have the damage output. So what we have to do is we have to figure out what can we do to enhance this more than what we got. Okay, so we know anger, we know we got hypnotics for flat damage and everything like that. So we got that. We got 466% increase in damage from all the different things in the tree. We got more damage of 143, increased damage from all kind of different places in the tree as well. But it's still not enough. And what I mean by it's still not enough is if we're going to be doing T16s, T16 maps require minimum to do it well 1,000,000 points of damage. You need at least 1,000,000, 2,000,000 points of damage just to effectively do it. Now, this is just our main power that we're using. Don't get me wrong. There's other things that we can do, and we're the damage. Like one of the things that we were sitting there and we've been talking about is we want to get this. So right now, this does 273 points of damage, right? So if we go boom, and we want staff gems. What are the things that we want to put in the staff gems? Or so we does this actually affect it? No, didn't affect it, so we don't want that one. Added cold. Does that work? Oh, sorry. Put that in weapon 1. Oh, switch this over to devastation. There we go. So one of the things, added fire. That's almost a 500,000 points of damage when it goes off. Concentrated effect. That's a good one. That gives us almost 6. Elemental damage with effects. That's to give us 8. Does faster attacks work? Yeah, but I don't think that's going to do anything. And the reason why is because how long does Shaper Devastation last? We want pulverize. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fire penetration. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would work if it works. I'm not sure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is in the staff. And so when you add Blazing Salvo, let's say Blazing Salvo damage in there. Let's go Blazing Salvo, all projectiles. Effectively, we're at 2,000,000 points of damage. I don't like it. I think that's actually not really good overall. We can look at it to see if we can get some pretty good output from it, right? But I think it's going to be short. And what I mean by that is I think it's going to be short in damage overall. So if we got the legacy, that's one. If we do annihilation, annihilating gives us the legacy to Rose is probably the best thing. I'm just gonna be honest. Legacy to Rose is gonna be the best thing. So that sniper's mark ain't gonna really work, just FYI, because of what it does. Poacher's mark, that's okay, but not that great. Okay, so flammability is gonna be the best thing. We gotta get some increased damage. We gotta increase our damage somehow. So this is flat fire damage right here. We got flat fire damage from anger, and we got nothing from gear other than just the flat damage. So there are some things we could do. One of the things, let's go ahead and look at the browser real quick. And one of the things we need to do is we need to look at fire damage. Fire damage. Is there anything that we missed? And we might have to revamp some of our gear. Let's just be honest. We might just have to revamp some of our gear to effectively get so replica prisma weave, that's actually one. That's actually a good one. This gives a spell damage, some fire spell damage. It also gives us cold and lightning spell to our spells. So it gives us all three. which is, yeah, that's actually pretty good. That might also help us with a couple of different things, but let's look and see what we got here as well. The Nagu's ring, that's actually a pretty good configuration. So from what I'm catching is that there is very little we can do there's very little we can do to get added flat fire damage to our to the build. Very little we can do. So this is global attack, local fire damage. So I don't know what other things we can do to get ourselves some increased damage output. Legacy of Judgment is definitely something that's going to be really nice to have because it actually brings our damage into where we need it to be. But it can really, it looks like it'll really hurt. We got to have Devastation because that gives us great. Then Blazing Salvo. That gives us, that brings our damage right where we need it to be. But I still have a problem with the overall. Hold up. Blood and Sand. That's it. So Blood and Sand is a 10%. Melee skills. Never mind. That's not the one. Let's look at auras real quick. I think we need to look at auras real quick. We already got Grace. We don't want Haste because Haste isn't going to do us very much. Anger is a really good flat. Zealotry is it's not that good. Not for what we're doing. We could go with the Discipline. And the reason why I say Discipline is because Discipline gives us the ability to Are you doing anything with charges? No, I'm not doing anything with charges. That was one of the things that I was looking at is frenzy charges would be great. Frenzy charges would be great. But currently I have nothing for charges because frenzy charges would be awesome. But frenzy charges would be awesome. Power charges doesn't give us that much because we don't do a lot of crit, but the frenzy charges gives us the attack increase, the speed increase, which would be nice, but I can't quite see how to get it in there without compromising a lot of other stuff and rebuilding of other stuff. Maybe swapping the spell slinger. Yeah, okay. Spell slinger would get rid of blazing salvo though. That's where, see, I'm trying to do a self-cast blazing salvo build right now. We get about 2 million points of damage. Effective hit points is about 72. Really, it's about 60 because if in all actuality, let's just get rid of the chaos because this is more normal. 55. We got about 55,000 effective hit points because we never have chaos resistance. Well, we do, but we normally don't. And I'm using a staff right now. Yeah. If everything's happy-go-lucky, this is the perfect build right here. Got all the chaos resistance, etc., and everything's good. So I have some issues, Sarah. Self-cast. This works out really nice. This also gives us the ability to not have to use Nemesis. We get the effective bounce back. We get the area increase here. I get blind there. Not using triggers because there's no reason for trigger bots. Getting the calculated risk is terrible. This sucks because guess what? You just, increase cooldown recovery rate and enemies reduced effective. This the only thing this could help us with is recovery rate. It could help us with steel skin. That's about it. Where steel skin pops up a lot more. Lots of more. What do you mean? Lots of options to increase damage there. Where? What do you mean? There's no real increase in damage that I could do out of the choices. You're accounting for any flash effects types? No, I didn't actually. The only flash configurations I have is silver, which gives me onslaught, quicksilver, granite, and jade. So quicksilver, I have it go for movement. Granite, I got for tortoise, and antelope for jade. So I can go. That's the best effectiveness I can get right there. And then we got this, which is masochist for silver. Now I can get rid of that one and go, hey, let's go ahead and go for flat. I can say, hey, let's look at flasks. Cinder swallow. Or Kira's determination. Cinder Swallow, there you go. Dying Sun, you think well, see, Dying Sun's expensive though. Oh, I'm not gonna deny there is ways to make money, very effective ways to make money. I have one of those tendencies of if it doesn't drop, I don't do it. And then there are things like, okay, so an example is if you do Blight, which I do, but I've done it before where I've done Blight, and you get the oils. You can make some pretty good money selling those oils. I mean, you can make a ton of money. But I can do Blight, but Blight requires me to have a specific type of build. And it's like, oh, I want to play, if I'm going to do Blight, I want to do a build that's a little different than what I got. Okay. So I do, an example is I do Blight with Bleed Pop. I do it with Chaos Pop. I do it with anything that it has explosions on corpses or when things die. I love doing Blight with those type of things because it's like, boom, you kill something and you're doing tons of extra damage while all this stuff is rushing in. It works out really well, especially when you got those juiced up maps from Blight. Works out really well. I enjoy Blight when I have, and I'm trying to play one of those builds. There's also another way to make a pretty good penny, and that would be by going through and doing was it not Ritual? It's the other one. Legion. If you start off and you do Legion really early, you can just run through Legion, get into the 5-man, or get into the not 5-man, the 4 Legion things. You can get the jewels. I forgot what they called. You can get those jewels and get those and sell them pretty good as well. But I really don't like Legion that often. So I don't know. I just don't really like certain mechanics. You hate Legion, but Legion is actually very, very good on making money. Too many items to pick up all cheap. Well, that's where you gotta okay, so that's where you gotta make sure your filter is good. And that's another thing. You gotta make sure your filter's good. You see what I mean? It's a I don't know. My play style is go in, kill stuff. If something good drops, then I'm happy. If something bad drops, I'm not happy. You know, that's pretty much my play style. That's my play style. And as you can see, we've gone through, we've looked at everything. Our damage output, the poor strat. Yep, that's right. Because okay, so everybody always says, hey, you got to play Path of Exile the way that you want to enjoy it, to be able to play, right? Well, if I'm sitting there and I'm playing, I don't like the crafting. I think crafting in Path of Exile sucks. It's the worst. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time crafting. So, and that's one of the most effective ways, well, not one of the most, it is an effective way of making money. The most effective way of making money on Path of Exile is going to the market, pulling things down at good prices, putting them back up at more expensive prices. You can make more money the first few days in Path of Exile by just buying everything you can off the market and reselling it at higher prices. But why is that's not fun for me? That's just not fun for me. Yeah, I'm not a fan of crafting either. Playing around with build ideas in PoE is the absolute hands down most pathetic excuse for a game. Take me right now. Oh, most pathetic excuse for a game. Oh wow, that's just mean. That's just mean. I'm having 140 respect so I can switch ascendancies and redo a level 98 tree, not even knowing if it'll work. Okay, acceptable. I will hands down say I accept that point. I accept that point. There are problems with Path of Exile that drive me crazy. This is the reason why I don't do that. And why, reason why I can run PoE and I usually could play PoE for almost the entire 3 months it's down, while everybody's not playing PoE and trying to play all these other games, is because I don't have the money to just rip everything out, rebuild my build and be like, did it work? Experimentation is god awful in PoE. Yes, you are correct. But that's why PoE 2 has a better respec. But guess what? PoE 2 sucks. PoE doo-doo sucks. Sorry. I want to try a secret strat. 6 link link with kinetic wanders fully spec'd into chaos. I want to test a configuration that I want to do, but I don't know if it'll work. I just don't know if it'll work. So this is a build that I want to, let me show y'all what I want to do. All right, so this is going to be Blazing Salvo saved the world. That's what this build is. Blazing Salvo saved the world. All right, now let's go back. Let me show y'all what I want to do. There is a so far on a garbage config 4 link without supports I want, and with the melee tree it's actually carrying T16s. That's nice. So you say what you're saying is it does work. So this is what I want to do. Look at initiative link. Hold up a second. Oh, this thing sucks. It's link skill. Sorry. I did see it. Link skill. Initiative link. Targets an allied player to apply a buff which links them to your them for a duration. While linked Their hits can trigger your supported spells. If the target dies while linked, you also die. This skill cannot be triggered or used by totems, traps, etc., etc. So you link in, and then automatically they whatever link spell, whatever happens, your spells go trigger off. Hey, Soulbound, you better get one of those. You know your guy's gonna die. Okay, so let me show y'all what I want to try. I don't know if it'll work, but I want to try it. So we got skills, right? So let's go ahead and say Ice Nova. Ice Nova Frost Bolts, right? Let's just first let's go Frost Bolts. Frost Bolts. So I want a Frost Bolt, right? I want cast on crit. Ice Nova Frost Bolts. So what I want to try is this. Something like this. With Ice Nova Frost Bolts? Yeah, that would be kind of crazy. So what I want to try to do is I want to try to get something that like maybe do something like Power Siphon, right? And then when Power Siphon crits, it's not connected, but I want to, or if we're a Spell Slinger and just have Spell Slinger go off, but I don't know exactly how to get it to work. That's my thing. I want to trigger Frostbolt and trigger Ice Nova of Frostbolts. I want to trigger those. It's crazy how often it procs and haste mercs. And it's constantly triggered. Yeah, see, that's my thing is I want to trigger these two things, but I don't know how to trigger it effectively. That's my problem. I don't know how to trigger it effectively. If I go with this, I could do this and then do one Frost Bolts in one, and then Ice Nova Frost Bolts in the other, right? And then try to get the try to get something to crit on a regular basis. Because this is like, hey, trigger a psychic spell on melee critical strike with 0 point whatever cooldown. I wish I wasn't on melee tree doing spells. For Kineticus that has a hasted proc crazy, put them both on one merc. Spells plural can be supported by a knit link. Yeah, understandable on that, but so you're saying to do this. Right. So you're saying put it on a kineticist, let the kineticist run, you run around with the kineticist. It's going to hit multiple people, which is going to trigger your spell. Which, that's an effective way of doing things, but I just don't. Strongest would probably be detonate dead setup. Yeah, that probably would be, because, well, yeah, that probably would be detonate dead or something in there. It literally procs very quickly. Yeah, it's gonna proc quickly, twice a second. Unless you have a cooldown configuration, then if you can get it, you can actually get it down to 3, maybe 4 times a second. Which then would run you out of mana like crazy. That might work out. That could work out. Now, one thing that would be interesting, which I just thought of, is could you do an initiative link with a Spectre? Hold up. It's just this could be really ugly. So I'm thinking outside of the league. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. So let's say we have this. Okay. Let's say we do this. What is this not switching? Is it switching? Okay, it's switching. All right. So let's say we have a Spectre, right? And we have the Spectre. The Spectre is gonna, you're gonna be, let's say, a Templar. Because Templars, I love Templars. So let's go here and let's do Primal Crush Claw. Primal Spectre, raise Spectre. Okay, And then let's go ahead, life. Minion life. Meat shield. No, meat shield makes it a feeding frenzy. And then let's just say we go with let's say we go with something. Let's get rid of all this. Hold up. Minion damage. Let's just go with advanced minion damage. All right. So let's say that that's that. Okay, we got that. Let's say it's in place, etc. I don't know about Mercs being here to stay. I don't know about Mercs being here to stay. The reason why is because if Mercs are here to stay, this is where my problem comes in. Mercs are here to stay. Every build is going to be a minion build. You see what I'm saying? Then why have a minion builds? Mercs could be the big or the minion, and you just use them. I don't know if Merc is going to be here to stay. That's my question, and we can't guarantee it anyway. So like I was saying, let's say let's just say I'm doing this, right? I do that, right? And let's say Primal Crush Claw, because what it is, let's go this route. Oh, that's the wrong one. Let's go here. Here. Let's only get Primal Crush Claw, because we don't necessarily want any of the other stuff. So let's go here, here, here. All right, so that's it. And let's just do this. Just because we want a little extra. Now we're talking about hits, right? So Primal Crush Claw got a lot of different things it does. It's got a slam attack, frigid roar, got a couple of different things, which hit a lot of things on the screen, right? So my question is, if I do a link skill like you just talked about, initiative link, and then I do frost bolts, ice nova, frost bolts, right? Into it tive. I don't know what that means. But if we ran that, let's just say we doing frost bolts, and then we get rid of this. Go back and there we go. Oh, come on. Into it in intuitive. Okay, intuitive. And then I was saying intuitive. Intuitive link. Intuitive link. All right, so let's do spell echo. Code penetration. And let's do concentrated effect. Controlled destruction. Let's say that's in our chess piece, right? And we turn an it link on. Initiative or intuitive link, sorry. Turn intuitive link on. Would that work? Spell echo won't. So let's go ahead and let's look at something else. Take that off. We do add a code. There you go. Intuitive link. Would that work? Because, and my question is really comes down to this. Oh, that would work. That would work. Oh my gosh. No, not the supports. Okay. One of the things that nobody uses very much anymore in minion builds, because hey, you could put echo back in. It didn't when I was in here and I was like spell echo. It didn't when I did the link, it doesn't show it as being usable. That's why I took it out, because it said it wasn't usable. But what I was saying before you threw me is one of the things nobody really uses these days is this one. Increases and reductions to minion damage also affect you. So the spell damage, if you notice, almost doubles when I put this in place, right? So when I go in and we do here, let's just say we go to Frostbolt and we look at the Frostbolt, it's getting increases from all the minion. So let's just say we do this. We do how much increase can I get from a large cluster, minion damage all the way across. Want to make sure that's there. We have to work renewals there. Vicious bite. Not worried about vicious bite right now. So that's 300 right there, right? Then let's say we go and do our normal thing, which is craft a convoking wand. And we do the convoking wand and we go with Darkness and Shroud. Let's go ahead and craft Abyss Jewels, Ghastly Eye. So right there, that would trigger constantly. That would trigger constantly because you got your primal crush claws, which are going to be going out and they're going to be doing attacks. You would link to one primal crush claw, and then just shield charge through things. All that stuff would attack. Frost bolts will be going out in all kind of directions, and the Ice Nova Frost bolts would go off of the Frost bolts. That's my thought process. I think it'll work. I think that would work. How many people can you link to? Can I link to like all? If I had specters, I've got 2 active specters. If I link to both, can I link to both number of linked targets? Can't link the minions. You can't link the minions. Oh yeah, there's a way to link the minions, isn't there? Isn't there a way to link the minions? I could have sworn there's a way to link the minions. You can't do totems, traps, or mines. Yeah, it says you can only link to 1, but the reason why I'm asking is because there's that little thing that was on the there was that thing that was on the on POB, which makes me wonder if there's a way to link to more. Because in POB is like, hey, number of linked targets. So is that because of something else, or Are we missing something that we don't know about? The minion defense mastery. Minions linked with this way expiring naturally by running out of duration of his or if some account as them dying as well, this will cause the caster to die. An exception, however, are dancing dervish summoned by the player running out of rampage causes the dancing dervish to vanish, which does not count as them dying. It is possible to have a character to multiple targets. Two characters cannot both simultaneously be linked to each other. Casting a new link on a target will replace the previous link on the target. Link skills will attempt to target non-linked targets before refreshing existing links. Ah, okay. So that's what it is. Enemies in your link beam cannot apply the elemental ailments. Enemies near your link targets, blah blah. Links take twice as long to break. Link skills linked to one additional random target. Link targets share endurance, blah blah. Your movement speed is equal to the highest movement speed. Yeah, so you can link up to 2 targets. If you have this, if with link mastery you can hook up to 2 targets. Minion defense mastery allows you to link skills can target damageable minions. So you can't have 2 links. You can only link. Ah, okay, I got you. Sorry, I missed that. Oh, I can't be. So you can't have 2 links. How would you keep that running though? You would run out of mana so quick. You'd run out of mana like fast. Okay, well that's it. That's it for that one. Let's go ahead and that run out of mana so quick. I don't see how we would be able to sustain the mana. I don't see how you'd be able to sustain the mana on that one. But it definitely looks like it'd be interesting. I like it. I like it. We'll have to test that out. We will have to test it out and see how it works. All right, guys. I'm gonna get on off here. I know it's been pretty much a very long discussion, working with a build type situation. I gotta go play. And it's just, I just can't not play. I gotta play for a little bit. So let's go ahead and get this done. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Something's wrong with my sound. Uh-oh, something's wrong with my sound. Hold up for a second. I gotta go. There we go. I can hear my sound now. I don't know if y'all could hear my sound earlier, but I was not able to hear my sound inside my earphones. I'm still having problems with my NAS, and so because I was having problems with my NAS, I haven't been able to really. Uh-oh. Okay, so we got problems. And the problem is we need to go in here and change this from starter to League Uber Strict. Save, close. Hey, there we go. Now we lost all that extra stuff that we didn't need. There we go. So what we're doing is right now we're just gonna run some. We were doing a lot of education earlier. Now what we're doing is we're just gonna go ahead and just be like, look, we ain't doing any education. We just killing stuff. Oh, I did. I died. I died. I died. This is me just in a normal league. This is me in a normal league just doing my thing. It's like 7 hours left. There's no way in the world I'm gonna be doing any more. No, less than 7. 3 hours left. There's no more gauntlet for me. That's it. I'm done. There's 5 hours left. You don't want me to start another one with 5 hours left. That's just crazy. That's just nuts. Come on. Nah, dude. Nah, dude. That's over. I'm done. I'm done. Trying to see how far I can make it. Oh, you want to try to see how far we can make it within 5 hours? Is that what you're trying to say? How far we can go within 5 hours? Brand new characters. Us start at us do a start race. That's what it sound. Is that what you're trying to say? Or are you saying you gonna continue to go with your character? You're in Act 5 for the first time? Oh yeah, I made it to Act 6. I was in Act 6. I was doing pretty good. I was doing pretty good. And then poof, I died. It was like, no. And I just wanted to cry. So I was like, okay, that's it. Done. Done. Play the same build as you? What are you playing? You playing RF, aren't you? But 5 hours is not enough for me, man. I need more than 5 hours. It takes me 5 hours to get to Act 5, so. With all the over leveling and stuff like that, nah, it's not gonna be worth it. Not gonna be worth it for me. Woo, look at this. Look at this. There we go. So I got to into the 50s. So I did qualify for the first drawing. I died like 3 levels from the second drawing. So I didn't make it to 60. But at least I can look forward to Drawing, yeah. If you get above 50, you get into the drawings. You have a possibility of getting at 50 you got a possibility of getting what you want to call it? The what's it? A mystery box. One of those mystery said GGG donates mystery boxes, and they donate like 250 of them. So if you get to 50, every person who gets to 50 gets into that drawing. If you get above 50, the next cutoff is 60. So if you get that 60 mark, you get a different drawing, or you can get more things. So like, I don't know, I think it's armor sets are the ones that's right above 50. And then after the other one, it goes up and up for the gauntlet until you get to till you get to a different level. I forgot what the other one is, but I have to go back to my old strat because this one does not seem to be working out as good. There we go. So what we're doing is we're just gonna go ahead and run through. Jungle Valley. There we go. Only doing about 30 million an hour. It's not that good in my opinion, but we might have to switch back over to the old strat. The old strat gives us a lot more experience per hour. Oh. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. All right. Let's look at the maps. All right. Oh yeah, that's right. I put those over here because I didn't want to destroy. Okay. Those over there. And strip that one. Oh. All right. Woohoo. There we go. We got a little play style in, got a little play in. That's a good thing. I think we did a great job on this. I am going to have to redo my setup, a sound setup, because I think I have a slight issue. We'll get the streaming rig working back again. My NAS died, which kind of changed my sound things because I can't play my music like I normally do, but that's okay. We're still going strong. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead. Yes. Genkenstein. The last epoch. Oh, I'm taking the first 2 days. So I'm taking the, because it comes out the 21st. I'm taking the 21st off, the 22nd off. Then it's Saturday, Sunday, and then I got to go back to work. So I got 2 days. I took 2 days off so I could just bam, 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 bam. I got 4 days straight of Last Epoch run. Oh, dude, that reminds me. Hardcore, softcore. I could do either. I don't mind. Look, I don't mind playing hardcore on Last Epoch. Well, I don't mind playing hardcore on Last Epoch because it doesn't feel as punishing. It doesn't feel as punishing. And because it doesn't feel as punishing, I have no problems with it. It is, that's how I view it. I view it as not being as punishing. So since it's not as punishing, I really just have no problems with it. BL4? What's BL4? I don't know what BL4 is. Is that acronym is not working in my brain right now. Borderlands. Okay, got it. I'm using my Steam login over here real quick. There you go. Now, there's some stuff I want to show y'all. See, I can't play Borderlands, so that won't happen for me. But I only have 16 hours of vacation. I got 267 hours, and this is after I took vacation. Like a week or more, to go to South Carolina and to Tampa, and then came back. Yeah. Now we carry over all of our hours, but you do not accrue more hours than 320. Had the job for 4 months. Yeah, well, you know. Hold up for a second. Let's get on over here real quick and let's look at this. So this is the official trailer. The official trailer for Last Epoch. So they had the teaser before where it was just clever girl, and then it kind of stopped. New chapter. They got a new chapter called Ancient Era, which is going to be cool. I can't wait to see that. Primordial Uniques. Primordial Exalteds, Lich and Necromancer rework, Passive Tree overhauls, new Flay skill for the Lich. They got balances for Beastmaster and for the Necromancer, which is good. You can now offline cosmetics. Rift Beasts. The new encounter system is Rift Beasts. So I can't wait to see what that one's gonna be like. It's like it looks like you got these beasts that you get to try to fight, these new type of mobs. Of course. The Sentinel. It's got to be a Sentinel, right? Beneath ancient skies. August 21st. I repeat, August 21st. Your base is 24, 27? Hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But we got Rift Beasts, Primordial Uniques. They did a Lich rework, a Lich and Necromancer rework. I want to see what the Lich one is. The Necromancer one, I can understand where there were some problems in it, but it's okay. The new Lich skill Flay, I can't wait to try that one because I want to play Lich. And then you got offline, the cosmetics are offline. So you got offline cosmetics now. Flicker Strike Lich Mal, I'll play that. I don't know, but hey, I am thinking Lich is going to be the one I'm going to start with. I think it's going to be what I'm going to start with. Then we got Merchant Guild upgrades, if you do Merchant Guild. And then you got just regular quality of life stuff. So I think it's going to be a very good season 3 for Last Epoch. Let's just call it out. Season 3, Last Epoch is gonna be awesome. Lich, Flicker Strike Lich Mal. I think it's, hey, I want to play Lich. I definitely want to play Lich. Now Flicker Strike, I don't know about that one. We'll try. We'll see. Yes, I'm not excited. Everybody is not excited that they got bought. I'm talking about, I've heard more people complain that they got bought than anything. And the reason why is because everybody's like, that means we're gonna be messed over because the people that bought them is gonna come in and they're gonna change everything. And that's all I keep hearing. And most likely this is going to be a problem, but it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. I have faith that it's going to be good for at least a year to 2. I had lost all faith in that company after the Subnautica 2 scandal. Lycanthropy, you didn't know? EHG got bought. They got bought. They got bought by hold up. They got bought. Who did they get? Who did they get by Last Epoch? EHG 11th Hour Games bought by Captain. Oh, sorry, I didn't see it. Yeah, gang. I was looking it up, man. Come on. I typed it in. Yes, they kept the dev team and everything like that. And 11th Hour Games is saying that even though Crafton came in, it's going to be okay because they're going to still have control. But we all know that that's not necessarily how it works. But I can say the 11th Hour Games people got paid $96 million. $96 million. That's a lot. EHG got bought for $96 million. Hey guys, what we should do is we should make our own game. Everybody, I'll be the idea man. Y'all be the programmers and get it all done. But I'll be the idea man. Y'all do the program and get it all done. We do maybe about 1 year, 2 year planning, and then we sell the company and we make a ton of money. Monetization. That's true. That's where we're going to have problems. The monetization is going to be the issue. And if they add in pay to play, or not pay to play, pay to win, pay to win, I'm out. If I start buying things and it makes it so that I can actually get further in the game if I pay for it. But that's either neither here nor there. Just wanted to kind of go through, give y'all some information, see how y'all doing, see how y'all think about it, et cetera, et cetera. I wanted to show what we got going on. So this upcoming week, I might be doing some Last Epoch streams where I'm looking at some stuff, just trying to get some build configurations together. It's just, we'll figure it out. My hardcore build in Last Epoch. I don't know about that. There are still some bad builds, but most likely 100K is too steep for you. Hey, I like Last Epoch, and hardcore is actually pretty good. I'm not going to deny. I don't mind dying. Got to make you a squirrel girl. Hey, I made a squirrel build. I did. Oh, no, I didn't. Yes, I did. I made a squirrel build a while ago. Not squirrel this league. But squirrel builds are awesome. Okay, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get on off here. I hope y'all enjoyed yourself, and I hope this has helped you in your quest for ultimate power. Peace out. I'm going to go ahead and get on off here and get me something to eat. Check y'all later. Peace.